Hey there, everybody. It's your girl Barbie J here with the recap and review of All the Queen's Men, Season 3, Episode 14, Deja Vu. And this was a pretty good episode. Had a little bit of excitement going on. But I gotta tell you, I don't know about y'all, but it looks like El Fuego just might be turning into one of the men of Eden and changing who he has become. Y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all think about that. And the synopsis read, El Fuego is on edge after a clear warning is sent his way. Amp tries to rekindle things with Dime, and Madam gathers information as she prepares to go to war with a deadly enemy. And we all know who that is. So before we get started and jump into this recap, if you are new here to my channel, please do not forget to subscribe. And if you're old here to my channel, please do not forget to subscribe. Subscribe, smash that like button, write a comment, and share because sharing is caring. Now, of course, it starts off how last week ended. El Fuego's car had blown up. He's in shock. He's staring at his car. Face came out, being nosy. He saw what happened and stuff. Fuego is just mad. He's pissed off. He doesn't know what to do. He's done with this ish that's going on. You know, the whole scene. So Midnight said he'll bring him home, and he told Face to go in there and let Madam know what happened. So Face went in there to let Madam know what happened. There was Blue and Tommy was in the office with her, and she goes out there to see what's going on, and she's like, oh, snaps, get this cleaned up right away. You know, Blue, get my car. I want to go see El Fuego. Because first when they were in the office talking, she had gotten a call from the concierge, and he texted her address, and she was going to go meet him. But she wanted to meet him alone, and Blue was like, no way in hell, we going to let you go by yourself. She's like, I get it, you know. Tommy was like, you need me to get the big guns? She's like, no, that's for tomorrow. I don't know what's happening tomorrow, but that's what it was. Anywho, Blue and Madam show up at El Fuego's house. She asks him if he's okay. She lets him know that she got his back. Like they said earlier, you know, she said, as we said earlier, you know, you look out for me, I look out for you. And so she said, I got another favor for you. And he's like, what is that, Madam? And she told him what she wants, something about looking at some surveillance in a hospital and what's going on. He says, is there anything in particular? She said, no, just let me see everything on the third floor. And he said, does this have anything to do with what happened to me? And Blue said, didn't you learn? The less you know, the better. And he's like, got you. But so she's leaving. And then Fuego stops her and said, Madam, I'm going to need you to scramble those cameras again over there at Eden. He said, because they can see everything on my laptop, everything I'm doing. So they're going to be able to see the feed that's going through. And Madam was like, thanks for the heads up. Good looking out. I was like, all right, Fuego. So now we have this quick scene with Detective Davis showing up at Doc's apartment. And I'm like, this was a wasted scene because nothing else became of it. Doc was annoyed because he don't like people showing up to his apartment unannounced. You know, he didn't know she was coming. So he's telling her, whatever you got going on with Madam, I told you I ain't got nothing to do with that. She said, that's not why I'm here. He's like looking her up and down, said, oh, so you want, what do you need from me? She said, I need? Who says I need it? Maybe I just want, want. Maybe that's a better word. He said, like I said, what do you need from me? And she's like, maybe I could show you better than I could tell you. And she went down on homeboy and worked him out, and he was in heaven. Next, we switch over to this scene with Amp. Dime comes over. He's trying to let her know he's sorry. He's apologizing. He's changing. He wants them to get back together. He knows she still cares about him. He can see it in her eyes, and he cares about her. He loves her and all this stuff. And she was right. He was acting like a real a-hole and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so he was started trying to kiss her and all this stuff, and they started kissing, and then she was like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. I gotta go. She said, I can't open up my heart to you again and have you break it. And he's like, but Dime, please, I've changed, and she's like, I gotta go. And she bounced after the homeboy had poured out his heart to her. He was saying all the right things, but she said it just didn't feel right to her. Anywho, we get this quick scene with trouble coming out of her building, and she gets a phone call from Rayshawn. He's in jail. They done caught up with him, and he's locked up. And I'm like, when did they find him? I thought he was in Alabama already. They got him back in Georgia already. So he's asking her, for bail money. He said because he didn't have a record, they gave him bail at $250,000. She's like, I ain't got no money like that. She said, boy, she said, I'll see what I can do, see if I can scrape some up from somewhere. And he's like, thanks, Trouble. I ain't have nobody else to call. You've been a real good friend to me. And she's like, all right, hang in there. He said, I just can't spend another night up in here. But let's think about that. Has Trouble really been a good friend to him? She's sometimey right now, and I don't see that she's a good friend to him. And we all know that Rayshawn is not made for staying up in no jail or prison or anything like that. So next we got a quick scene with Tommy bringing breakfast to Madam in bed. And she's like, thank you, Tommy. And he's like, is there anything else you need, Madam? Would you like for me to do something special? She's like, special like what? He said, I haven't massaged your feet lately. She said, no, that won't be necessary. You sure? She said, I'm sure. So he leaves, and then she calls Big D and tells him she has his first assignment. And he's like, happy to oblige, madam. What can I do for you? And she's like, I want you to reach out to Casanova, and find out everything he has on El Fuego. He's like, okay, madam, we'll do. She said, I want to find out today. He said, got it. And he was being all happy and stuff. And she hung up saying, happy mother effer. I said, oh, Lord, she funny. But all that smoking in bed she does, that bedroom must smell like smoke. She smokes so much in the house, I can't stay in no house that smell like smoke because it gets in the paint of the walls. So next we have a quick scene with Miss Tandy and Face in bed. And she's listening to the news, and she's hearing that she's ahead in the polls. And she says, I can't believe this. I just may be the next mayor of Atlanta. And he's like, and I'll get me a new car. That's the first thing Face says. I'm like, oh my God, she's looking at him. He said, no, don't look at me like that. You did say that you would get me a car. She said, yeah, and I make good on my promises. She might get him a new buggy or something. Because she looked like when she get that power, she will become a nasty woman. That's what I'm seeing. So he's like, well, why don't we just celebrate early? And he goes back down on her. And we move on to the next scene, which is at the precinct where DA Rods and Casanova are talking. And as they start discussing Miss Tandy, Big D comes by, and then he backs up and starts listening in to what they're saying. And she's letting them know that she can't wait until Miss Tandy wins because she promised her that she will uphold all the promises that her husband made to DA Rods. And so Casanova said, well, what promises did he make? She said, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter because he's dead, so I can do whatever I want. And she said, the first thing I'm going to do is get Madam. She said, we both going to take her down together. But Casanova says, is Miss Tandy going to not like hanging out in her spot? Because she was over at eating a lot. And D.A. Rods is like, Miss Tandy loves the men, but she loves power and money just as much. So she's not worried about that. So at this point, Big D knocks on the door and he comes in. D.A. Rods leave. And Casanova acts like he's good to see him. Like, what up, man? Good to see you alive and all this stuff. And he said, yeah, man. He said, what can I do for you? And he told him what it was. He said, I wanted to know what you have on El Fuego. He's a good dude and everything. And he was like, why are you getting involved? He said, well, he helped me out of a real sticky situation. And I just want to return the favor, dude. What you got on him? He's like, I'm not going to give you no police information about that. He said, you ain't got nothing you could give me? He said, look, I don't have anything on El Fuego. He's the only one that wasn't a complete a-hole to me, So he said, but you asked me earlier for protection. The only protection I could give you right now is to tell you to stay away from all of them. Stay far away from them, including El Fuego. And Big D was like, all right, man. But when Casanova walked away, he had this face. Big D was looking at him like, you's a messed up mother. Shut your mouth. You know what I mean? He had that type of look. So now we have Trouble showing up at Champ's apartment, and they talking about this plan that they got about robbing in that, was it the stash house or something or whatever? They gonna try to rob this place and make some money. And he asks her, has she heard from Rayshawn? And she said, yeah, she did. This nigga got caught up and arrested, and he asking me to bail him out. like I got that kind of money. He said, well, he is a good kid and everything. She said, yeah, that's all well and good, but I ain't got no money like that, even if I did. She said, I don't know him like that to be bailing him out, though, giving the cops that kind of money. He said, I hear that. It ain't worth it. And she was like, sure ain't. So then he said, maybe later on we going to have money like that. We going to see what happened tonight with this thing. And she said, don't try to play me like you did Ray Sean. He said, man, I ain't do that. And she was like, yes, you did. He said, you don't trust me? She said, not really. So now we have Madam getting a text message from concierge. She's asking him why is he texting her, and he's like, unlike you, I know how to stay anonymous. And she's like, what do you want? And he said, to let you know that there's nothing I could do to protect you or help you. My father-in-law wants you dead. And she just threw her phone down because all of this was in text, you know. And verbally she yells out, stop playing on my phone and tell him to come and get me. Because we all know Madam ain't afraid of nobody. So now we got this crazy scene with Madam and Tommy in the car together. She's driving, and he said when she's in this mood, she drives erratic, and he's getting car sick. She said, you better not throw up in my goddamn car, Tommy, you know. And then she get a phone call from Fuego. He saw something strange in the video. He's sending her the link. She gets it on her phone. She tells Tommy to look at it. He said, Madam, you're going to want to see this. She said, don't worry about it. I'll see it at the club. I was like, what was on the phone? Somebody put it down in the comment section. What do you think was on that phone in that video that Fuego sent? You know what I'm thinking it is? I'm thinking Fuego see that the DA or somebody probably killed Miss Tandy's husband. That's what I'm thinking, that he didn't die on his own. Somebody might have did something to take him out. And the somebody I would be thinking it was is DA Rod, that she has something to do with it because she wants to be in charge and run things. So now Big D shows up at Madam's office and she's like, you got good news for me? He says, sorry, it's bad news. That Casanova was tight-lipped on any kind of information about El Fuego. So she said, you got nothing? He said, well, I did also overhear D.A. Rise talking to Casanova about how she got Miss Tandy in her back pocket and that they coming for you. So you should watch your back. She said, I always watch my back, my sides, and my front or whatever. And he's like, okay, is there anything else you need from me, madam? She said, other than you getting out of my office and going out there making me some money. He said, I could do that. And he bounced. And then she told Blue to get a detail on that DA so they could follow her behind too. And what was interesting to me is while all of this is taking place, this conversation, Madam didn't stop looking at that video that El Fuego sent her. So something must be very interesting on there that Madam is going to catch. Watch. So Blue, she leaves out of the office. She goes out into the, the main area, and she runs into Trouble, who tells her that Ray Sean is in jail for murdering Jack Watson. And Blue's like, why the F should Madam care? And she's like, I ain't say that. I just thought she would like to know. She said, you gonna tell her? She said, I might, or something like that. And Trouble just walked away. And when she walked away, Madam walked up, and Blue told her, Trouble was here and she had a message for you. She said, what? That Ray Sean got locked up. And Madam's like, mother F. And she left. And she left and went and got the money and went to bail Ray Sean out. She came with stacks of money, put it up on the desk, pow, and said, this is for Ray Sean Williams or whatever his name is. And of course, she runs into D.A. Rods, who starts saying some annoying things to her, which Madam just lets roll off her shoulders. And she started saying stuff, oh, you're going to be surprised when it happened. And she's like, oh, don't keep me in suspense. Let me know now. And I think she basically told her that we're going to take you down. And she was like, oh, whatever, not a problem. She's not worried. And then while that was happening, Rayshawn came out and said, thank you, madam. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Do you need me to go to the club? I'm really tired now. But if you need me to go to the club and dance and make some money, I'll do it. She said, no, baby, go on home. Not a problem. And D.A. Rodder was like, it's terrible how you control these men. And when Tandy get in the office, we're going to make sure all of that ends or something like that. And Madam said, don't F with me because y'all both as dumb as you look or something like that, she said. But she did get back to that club later and run into Miss Tandy and tell her why does DA Rods feel like she got you in her pocket? She said, I don't know, there might be a miscommunication. She said, no, she feels you got her in her pocket and you must be losing your damn mind or something like that. She went off on her and she told her that well, DA Rod is somebody good that we could work with. She said, oh, hell no, she needs to be fired. When you get in the office, she needs to be fired. Or do I have to take Ray Sean and walk down to the courthouse and have him tell everybody what you did to him? And she was like, I understand, madam. I said, oh, tell her, madam. And this is just why I knew Madam was going to bail him out, because Ray Sean is her meal ticket to straighten Miss Tandy's behind out. So Madam gets back to the club and El Fuego comes in to see her. And he's like, you didn't have to do that, Madam. She's like, what? He said, the car. She got him a fly car, something like that. And she said, I didn't expect your car to get blown up because somebody's looking for me. You know, she said, I see what you're doing around here. I see your loyalty. You handle yourself well. Just see it as a token of my appreciation. And he was saying, letting her know it was just seemed like it was too much. So he wanted to hug her. She said, no hugging. And we all know she don't like nobody hugging her. He said, I just wanted to show how thankful I am. She said, I know. She said, now go back out there and enjoy your car. He said, I will. And we know that to be true because when he first got in there and she said, you don't like the car? He said, I love it. I said, all right now. So now Fuego makes it to the dressing room and Doc at midnight was like, that's a nice whip you got there. And he said, thanks, Madam got it for me. She says she appreciate everything I've been going through because of her. And they was like, whoa. And then here come Babyface. I can't stand him because he's a show-off. He's like, when Tandy wins that election, she says she's going to get me a new whip. And Midnight said he's lucky. He always lucks up. He's ain't about luck. It's about skills. And next thing you know, in comes Big D. And Amp's like, yo, nigga, what you doing back here? And he said, yo, just chill. So Faye said he needed to use my charge. I told him he could come back here and grab it for himself. He said, but why are you so upset with this dude anyway? And I'm sitting there going, Face, hold up. You the one that had a problem with him first. You had the biggest problem with Big D. Now you trying to act like you all cool with Big D? Come on, against Amp? And then he said, ain't you back in with Dime? You won. And Big D was like, is that so? And Amp told Face, you talk too effing much. You need to mind your business. And Midnight was like, is it true? And Amp said, I'm not putting Dime's personal business out on the street. Now, the thing is, earlier, Amp ran into Dime and kept trying to talk to her while they were in the club, saying he'd been texting her. I thought we were working on something. It was a little giggling and stuff going on. And she was like, I'm not sure what I want to do. I need time. And then Face came out one door and saw them talking. I don't know if he was close enough to hear what was going on, but all they were doing is talking. And Dime said, let's keep this between us. Please don't put my business out all over Eden. That's just what she said. And guess what? She's going to think Amp told. She's going to think Amp told when it was Babyface who told. And that's going to be a problem. Watch. And this whole little thing that Babyface did caused Amp and Big D to have a little face-off like they wanted to fight, but they didn't fight. And he's smiling and chuckling. And Fuego looked at him like, you're such an idiot. Grow the F up, starting this problem between these two men. And then the episode ended with that scene I told y'all earlier about with Madam and Miss Tandy. And she told her that DA Rods is an obstacle that needs to be eliminated. So don't F around, else you're going to find out. And it went off just like that. I said, uh-oh, it's going to get funky in here. Anyway, that's how this episode went. Y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all thought about it. And I will see you all in the next video. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. It's your girl, Barbie J, saying peace.